everybody, to Edge of the Rabbit Hole. We have a fantastic episode coming up for you tonight. In studio guest Nicole Guillaume is with us. Coming up next. Welcome back, everybody, and welcome to the new year here on Edge of the Rabbit Hole, kicking off season 2021. Hope you guys had a wonderful holiday season. I know it's been almost a month since we've done the show. Yeah, time flies. But yeah, it was that big of a gap because we stopped in the middle of December, and now we're almost in the middle of January, and we were starting. Wow. So it's great to see everybody down in the chat room. And starting off special here for the new year. In studio guest Nicole Guillaume of the Guiding Echoes channel is with us this evening. I just caught her just walking down the street like, "Hey, Nicole, want to come on the show tonight?"
That's exactly how it happened. Yeah. I was like, I don't have anything going on tonight. Sure.
Yeah, I mean, just from California, walking down the street in Ohio, and
happens every day. Yeah. Well, when I walk my dog, we go for long walks.
That's a long
which is
walk.
Really weird because I don't have a dog.
So many of you know Nicole, of course, from the Guiding Echoes channel, but also my girlfriend.
Yes.
But
my boyfriend.
Exactly. But she's
what?
Yeah.
Go figure that.
Yeah.
Who knew?
I know.
Who knew?
When did that happen?
But she is a psychic medium, very large channel, the Guiding Echoes channel, 135,000, somewhere around there. Yeah.
135,000 subscribers.
Mm-hmm. And so we're going to be talking about enhancing your psychic abilities tonight. And we're also going to be playing a game or two. So, but let's go ahead and start with the psychic ability part. And I guess for those that don't know you,
you want me to just talk about myself like I'm a narcissist?
Yes,
all right. Let me tell you about me, darlings. My name is Nicole Guillaume. Pleasure to meet all of you. As Mike had stated, I am a psychic medium, and yes, I have the channel Guiding Echoes. Be sure that you check it out, subscribe. And on that channel, I love to teach people how to enhance their intuition, and we also talk about things like the afterlife and spirit communication, all that jazz. And so one of the things that I wanted to do on this show tonight is teach you guys how to enhance your intuition. So on Thursday of this week, I'm releasing a video on my channel that teaches you how to use 3 different divination tools to enhance your intuition. And for those of you in this watching this channel, watching this show who are intuitive, and I know there's many of you, you probably have ran into that dilemma where you want to practice your intuition with someone, but there's no one to practice with. Maybe you live in the Bible Belt and everyone thinks you're the devil if you even talk about intuition. You know, it happens. Scary, babe. Wow, okay. So what I'm going to teach you today is how to use card decks, actually, to enhance your intuition for those times when you're by yourself, but you still want to practice in some way, shape, or form.
Real quick, because I know you guys are going to throw questions down there in the chat. I'm going to do my best to pick them up. Quarantine Ghost is no longer with us, so we are on a search for a chat moderator. He stepped aside over the holidays, so it's what it is.
It's too bad. I like QG.
Yeah, QG was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Gone too soon.
Yeah, where was I? Oh, yeah. So what I wanted to do was teach you guys how to use cards to enhance your intuition. So this is really kind of a game that you can play, and I do this on my own. So first, I'm curious to know how many of you are intuitive in some way. So you're psychics, mediums. I'm curious to see what type of intuitive ability you have, what type of psychic ability you have. So go ahead and put that as an answer in the chat room. And then also if you happen to have a clair that you know is stronger than the others. So if you're clairvoyant, that means you have excellent intuitive insight. If you're clairaudient, it means you can hear things pretty well. So what is it that you guys are able to do? So while I'm waiting for those answers.
Yeah, we know there's a little bit of a delay between the stream and the chat and all that stuff, because they're actually now just saying, "Oh, I like Quarantine Ghost." So,
yeah. We all liked QG.
Yep. QG was a lot of fun.
QG was a good ghost. So let's see. We've got Auntie Coco. I know who you are, Auntie Coco. Hey there. Just me charm sensitive.
Oh, Hans, I know how to astral project easily. Nice.
Very
nice.
cool. Very cool. All right. So quite a few of you. So if you, let's see, empath. Sandra says she's an empath and she can see some things in the future. Very cool. Very cool. So these are all amazing gifts. And sometimes what can happen is they kind of turn on by themselves, right? Have you guys had that experience? So you're just driving, minding your own business, enjoying your day, totally looking forward to going to work, because who doesn't love going to work? And all of a sudden you're hit with this intuitive insight about someone or something, and it turns out that you were right. You know, that intuitive hit, whatever it was, turned out to be correct. But then when you try to tune into your intuition on purpose to get an answer for something or gain direction, it's like nothing comes through, right? So that can be really frustrating. So what I want to teach you guys how to do is how to tune into your clairs, because your clairs are how your intuition speaks to you. So again, it's your clairvoyance, and that's what's referred to as the third eye, and that is your intuitive ability to see things. Being able to see things also means when you're clairvoyant, usually you see things in your mind's eye, so it's not going to be a physical apparition. If I were to see physical apparitions all the time, I would run. I'd be like, who is this person in my room? Bye.
But on occasion you do.
On occasion. But it's not constant. That would drive, oh my God, that would not.
You might go a little crazy.
I would not like that at all. And so being able to see things intuitively in our mind's eye is actually a gift, because it means when we learn how to control our own mind and emotions better, we can turn those abilities on at will, but we can also turn them off. For the most part, you're still going to get bombarded, or you're still going to get information once in a while when you don't want to. But for the most part, you'll still have more control over it. So what we're going to do today is we're going to use a deck of cards, and I just want you to feel into one of the cards, okay? So we're going to start off with this card right here, the Four of Wands. And you guys don't, can you see that? There we go. You guys don't have to know what this card means. I just want you guys to tune into it and see what type of feel you get out of it. Victoria, you can do this too. I know you already know tarot. So just kind of tune into it, and you guys can go ahead and put in the chat room like what type of vibes you're getting from it. Like when I see this card, I think of a celebration. Some people think of it as like a wedding. So I'm just curious to see what...
Victoria, what are you getting?
Yeah, what are you getting?
Sorbo the Greek.
Sorbo the Greek.
It just reminds me like of a Greek wedding.
What about you, Mike?
I mean, to me, because I'm seeing it through like the little square.
Well, you can see it right here.
I was thinking Ren Fair is what I was getting.
Yeah, Ren Fair's, that's one of the things that I see from it too. So, all right. So now that you guys have a feeling for this card, what we're going to do is I'm actually going to mix it in with two other cards. And so what I want you guys to do is to use your intuition to tell me if it's card number 1, 2, or 3. This is a little backwards.
So we have
anyways,
people saying strong
2,
foundation,
and 3.
family, wedding, marriage, ancient ritual. So a lot of interesting responses.
Yeah.
To the card.
So here's how I want you guys to find this. I want you to use your intuition. So I want you to actually take your time going through each card. So this is card. Wait, what did I say this was? 1? This is 1.
That's 1.
So tune into this card and see what this card feels like. This is the first card. So just take a moment.
Yeah, it'll be a moment because they're still responding a little bit to
Right.
the other one: happiness, joy, stability. A few of those.
So that's card number 1. So you guys tuned into that one. And now tune into the feeling of this one. Or you might end up getting colors, or, just use your different clairs. So you might feel something out of this card. You might see a color. You might actually hear a word. So just tune into that card.
You're responding with numbers 2, 2, 3.
Well, yeah, because they're telling me where the card is. So, and then we have this one. So card number 3. So again, tune into that and just see what you guys feel out of that. All right. So now we're going to do the reveal. So if you chose... So if you thought card number 1 felt like the 4 of Wands, here's what you chose. So we got the 4 of Pentacles. If you chose card number 2, that was the 4 of Wands.
Yep.
Great job. A lot of people
chose
did.
2.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then the third card, actually I'm holding it upside down now, is the Ace of Pentacles. So one of the things that's interesting, though, because I chose these cards at random, is if you chose number 1, you might have been tuning into 4 energy because both of these were force. And then also, Ace of Pentacles is a relatively happy card. So if you thought of the 4 of Wands as being happy or stability, anything like that, Ace of Pentacles might have had a similar feeling for you.
Yeah, we did have some people in here saying happiness.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyways, that's just a really simple game that you guys can play on your own. And again, if you're someone who wants to practice your intuition on your own, that's a great way to just tune into that and, turn your intuitive abilities on. So one thing that you can do, and the reason that I recommend tarot for intuitive abilities is, first of all, for those of you who don't know my story, when a few years ago, back in, I think it was 2012, I was living with, well, he was my boyfriend at the time, my ex-boyfriend. I'm sorry, babe. I know. Kills me too. But anyways, so I had another boyfriend. Cover your ears for this, babe. And we had decided to decorate our house for Halloween one year. And I thought it would be really cool to put a seance out in our front yard. And so I started looking at different tarot decks that I could use for the decoration for the seance. And I was on Amazon looking at all these different cards, trying to find the perfect deck because I wanted something that wasn't too scary. And I did want something kind of nice looking. And there was this one deck. It's no longer in print, but there was a deck that basically haunted me until I bought it. And initially I wasn't going to buy it because I'm kind of cheap. Well, I was. I'm not anymore, but I was. I was on a tight budget. And the deck that I wanted was $30. And it was like, there's no way I'm paying this much to have it. Because I had these visions of it being blown in the wind and kids sneezing on the cards or whatever. Because I was going to use them for decoration. So anyways, ended up, I think it was 2 days later, in the middle of the night, I actually finally got up and bought it because this deck was just on my mind. I just had to buy it. So I finally did. And when it came in, I was like, these cards are just too beautiful to use. I
love the artwork on a lot of cards.
Yeah, there's a lot of gorgeous decks out there. So I decided that instead of using them for decorations, I was going to go ahead and learn how to read them. And it turned out that I was quite a natural reader. And I ended up taking an online class with other students, and we would do readings for each other. And I'm kind of a teacher's pet anyway, so I showed up to basically the top of the class. And since I was so good at it, I wondered to myself, I wonder if I could start a business with this. And so I started my YouTube channel and Twitter account and all this different stuff. And as I started doing tarot readings for people, my intuition started to light up. And it was while I was doing tarot readings that spirit started to come through. And I kind of didn't understand what was going on at first, but I would very clearly feel a presence. I would very clearly see a spirit. In fact, I think I saw them more clearly back then than I do now, because now I don't just see them, I feel them and I hear different things, so it's completely changed. But tarot was my doorway into mediumship and really into all of this. So if it hadn't been for picking up that deck, if it hadn't been for that deck haunting me in my dreams practically,
you wouldn't have gotten involved then. You may have eventually later. You never
probably
know. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I was into meditating and reading books on the law of attraction and working with angels, but this is the tool that really opened my eyes to how good I actually was with everything. So go ahead.
No, question here from chat room. Sarah Youssef wondering, would this work with an ordinary deck of playing cards as well?
It might. With an ordinary deck of cards, here's the thing, is when you work with tarot, you're working with different archetypes. So an archetype is basically an experience or a representation that we're all familiar with. So the Hanged Man, for example, that's an archetype of discipline. You're not going to get that type of an archetype in a regular set of playing cards. Here we have the Seven of Wands, someone who's defending themselves or fighting people off. That's not going to be in a deck of cards, regular deck of cards either. But what you can do with a regular deck of cards is maybe if you have certain numbers that have a feel, you can maybe see what a 6 feels like and what a 5 feels like and do the game that way. And then you can, since you basically only have 2 colors, red and black, you can do a game where you try to find the red cards and you try to find the black cards, or maybe you try to find the spades and whatnot. So playing cards might actually be a good way to start because you have less options. But I like tarot because for enhancing your clairvoyance, because tarot works with a wide range of emotions and a wide range of different situations. But I feel like I've been talking this whole time and Victoria hasn't even said anything. I feel like I'm hogging the show.
Victoria, you have a question or observation at this point? You
Good
had
morning.
cards there with you.
That's because I'm psychic and I knew she was going to do that.
I'm kind of known for tarot and psychic mediumship.
Yeah, because she has her pick a card videos and all that on her YouTube channel on Guiding Echoes.
Now, do you have a favorite deck, or do you like oracle cards? Or I was told one time women should not do tarot because it's too masculine, and they should only do oracle cards. I know. Yeah.
Well, that's very
Very
interesting.
sexist.
Yes, that is sexist. Yes. I totally
actually
agree with that. I think only men should do tarot. So here you go, Mike. Have at it.
It was actually a woman that told me that, and
Did you gain some interesting
Well, it was almost
information?
kind of like what I was doing.
It was actually. That's
well,
funny.
that's the other way.
It's the other way, but there you go.
The
There you
Hangman.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gain enlightenment by looking from a different direction.
There you go.
So, do you use oracle cards?
I do use oracle cards. In fact, well, I have Psychic Tarot of the Heart Oracle deck right here, so that's a great deck. But yeah, I use oracle cards. I think oracle cards have their place, obviously, but you can't get the same information out of oracle cards that you can from tarot. I find that oracle cards are best for maybe when you're feeling down, or you need a pick-me-up, or you need advice on a situation and you need a different way of looking at things. I think that's when oracle cards can be really helpful. But of course, that's even hard to say because all oracle cards are different, right? Where tarot follows a structure, oracle cards don't. They're a little more, I guess you could say, freelance. But most of them do tend to lean on the more positive side. And the only problem I have with that is that when you work with purely positive cards, there's no way for that deck to tell you no. So if you're trying to get answer, like if you should do, A or B, and you're consulting oracle cards, your oracle cards are going to cheer you on and be like, yeah, A and B rock, go for it, girl, but there's no way for them to warn you and say, you probably shouldn't take option B.
There are, I can't think of her name. Oh, that woman that did all those decks, and I forget her name now.
Better not be Doreen Virtue.
That's it, bingo. Okay.
The one who became like a flippant, like, fundamentalist. Yeah.
Okay. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But anyway,
There kind of is, but okay.
I'm trying to be polite.
You're very sweet.
Trying to be polite. It's been a very... I'm down here in a red state. Help me. One of her decks has one of the cards is Beware the Red Flags. And so they do put like, watch out for this. They're like little warnings, or heed this message. And
well, that's true. They can, but I'm talking about the purely positive decks. Purely positive decks don't tend to have those in them. It's just like, go for it, and your dreams are around the corner. It's always so they're positive messages, which is nice. But if you're really needing to know what decision's going to be good, or if for example, if you're dating someone and you need to know if that person's dangerous and what their true intentions are, Oracle decks, positive ones, probably aren't going to be able to tell you what those red flags actually are. But tarot can, and so can Lenormand. So again, like, I think Oracle has its place, but I prefer tarot in a lot of ways because I think tarot is amazing at predicting the future. I think it's also great at teaching us how to I want to say communicate really with our own emotions, because the tarot doesn't shy away from things that are uncomfortable. And I think a lot of times, especially when we're consulting psychics or when it gets to our own spiritual life, some people use that as an escape, and they want to hear everything's going to be great. No one wants to hear, like, yeah, your dreams aren't working out, honey, and it's because you have to take responsibility for your life. But that is what tarot will tell you if it's necessary, if that's what the issue is. So that said, my favorite decks, getting back to that question, is right now I love the Everyday Witch Tarot and the Wizard's Tarot. So have you seen Everyday Witch Tarot?
Yeah, it's upstairs.
It's so cute. I love the images and everything on it.
It's
and
the cats. The cats.
The cats. They have lots of cats. Every card on that one pretty much has a cat.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the Wizard's Tarot, like you said, was really good.
That's nice. It's very good.
Yeah, we each have one, actually.
Yeah. Well, I was going to get him one for Christmas because he liked mine so much, and then he bought it for himself. I was like, well, there goes that idea.
It was, hey, give me a little credit. There was 2 months before Christmas.
Well, that's true. This is the first time you've spent Christmas with me. You didn't know yet that I buy gifts like 3 months ahead of time, which was very useful with the mail situation this year.
It was.
Or last year.
Yeah, because mail is still being a nightmare.
It is.
So, a question here from Alina. She says, I recently found out I'm a sensitive empath. How do I truly trust what I feel while knowing I'm not overthinking?
So that's a really good question. I think it's important that we always trust our experience. Always trust our experience. Always trust what you feel. A lot of times when I'm working with people one-on-one, when I'm helping them to develop their intuition, or I'm helping them to really enhance their mediumship abilities, that's one of the things that'll come up all the time is they'll tell me, I had this experience and I just want to know if this was real or if I was crazy. And I always tell them, well, you're the one who had the experience. And the thing is, you had that experience. You don't need anyone's validation. And the same thing is true of our own emotions. So when you have an emotion come up, and empaths and HSPs both get this, and that's probably a video I'll do at another time. If you think you're an empath, look into HSP, highly sensitive persons. That's what I realized I am. I'm an HSP. I'm not an empath. But there are variables in the two. And so if you know which one you are, it can be helpful in how you maneuver through different situations. But that said, always trust your emotions. So if you're in a situation where suddenly you start to feel anxiety, and maybe you're in your room by yourself and there's no one around you, or maybe you're in a crowded room around people you should feel comfortable with, and you start to feel anxious and you start to feel stressed, you can take some time to just be with that stress, and you just acknowledge, like, I'm feeling anxiety. And you don't have to say this out loud because you don't need people to be like, what? Why are you feeling that? So you can just acknowledge, like, I feel anxiety right now. I feel stressed. And you may want to say, this feels like, and then go into what anxiety feels like for you. Because what this does is it helps you to just validate your own experience. And I think a lot of times empaths, psychics, mediums, especially when they're new on their journey, they want someone to validate them because they do want to know that they're not crazy, right? They want and also it goes back to wanting a community. Like, we want people to understand us. And if they understand us, maybe that's someone we can talk to about the different things we're experiencing. So know that it's normal to question your experiences, but it's also really important that we trust them. Because when you feel anxiety and when you feel stress and when you feel fear, you know what you're feeling. So just acknowledge that you feel it. You don't have to know where it's coming from. So if you're afraid all of a sudden and you're not sensing a dark spirit and you're not around anything that should make you fearful, you just acknowledge to yourself, I feel fear. Like, this is what I'm feeling right now. And what you may want to do is work on some breath work right away. Because when we breathe in deeply, so just like you take those nice deep breaths in. So those full belly breaths. So you're taking in full air in your stomach and in your lungs, and you hold that for a moment and you exhale out. What that actually does is it shuts down the arousal centers of our brain. One of the reasons we start to get so anxious and stressed out, and we start to continue to feel those feelings. Remember, the neurons that fire together wire together. And so we want to stop that emotion when we can, or at least interrupt it. So when you take those deep breaths, what it does is it grounds you, it centers you, but it stops that arousal in your brain. So it kind of gives you a reset. So just take some deep breaths in and maybe focus on something else. Find a mantra that you really like a mantra that I'll work with is, I am divinely guided and protected. So whenever I'm in a situation where I feel afraid, like I used to be deathly afraid of heights, It was ridiculous. So whenever I was anywhere way up high, like on those ski lifts, I hate ski lifts so much. I still hate those things.
Your
but
legs dangling out.
Yeah, I hate heights. That's why God made me short. He did me a solid there. Thank you, big guy.
I was up on a ski lift with my dad one time just to go see the sights up there. We weren't even skiing.
Yeah.
And he had me hold the lid to his camera lens and dropped it all the way down.
Oh my gosh. He must not have been very happy.
No, he wasn't happy about that.
I'll be sure to bring that up next time I see him. Hey, Bob, remember when? Ah, goodness. So, so find a mantra that'll help you to work through those emotions. And again, don't try to figure out where they're coming from. Just know that, hey, I'm an empath. I sometimes absorb other people's emotions. These aren't my emotions, but I am feeling this. And so just validate that you're feeling that, breathe through it, find a mantra, and the more you practice this, the easier it'll get.
So Joy commented in the chat, I saw her talk about this in her new YouTube video. It really helped me yesterday.
Aw, glad to hear that, Joy. Thank you.
So yeah, Nicole has amazing YouTube videos out there on her Guiding Echoes channel. So after this, by all means, go check it out.
After this, not right now,
yeah,
though.
Yeah,
not right now.
I do have the link down in the description, so you can go check it out. Yes, after this, not during.
Right. So,
Victoria, you have any other questions at the moment?
I have lots of questions, but
Well, go ahead.
No, not these. No.
Yeah. Oh, not for this one.
No. Still working on wormholes. No, I mean,
That's okay.
No, do you scry or what else do you do? I mean, I'm trying to think what I do. No, I mean,
no, I don't do a lot of scrying. I had a pretty terrifying experience with a mirror when I was a little girl, so I don't do a lot of scrying. It's okay. I do a lot of crying, not a lot of scrying. No, I'm kidding.
Oh,
I don't really. I have the best boyfriend. Why would I do a lot of crying? That's ridiculous. So, but
I'm the best girlfriend.
Aww.
Your boyfriend and my girlfriend should get together.
They should.
Yeah.
We should introduce them to each other. Yeah. This is a joke that we have between us all the time. This is, if you were a fly in the wall, this is how we behave like all the time, pretty much. What were we talking about? Oh, scrying.
Scry, don't cry.
Scrying. Yeah, scrying.
It sounds like a 60s song.
Okay. No, I don't do scrying. I do charms. Like, I'll work with charms. Charms are fun. Tarot cards, of course. But mostly my main thing is psychic mediumship. So I do just a lot of purely intuitive work.
okay.
And then also, I love mentoring people. So people who are new to this path and they're trying to figure things out. Like, a lot of times when people are newly out of their religion, that's really difficult for them. So when their abilities start to open up and they realize they need to walk away from their faith for whatever, because it doesn't match what's going on inside of them, I get a lot of clients that need some assistance with that. So that's more or less what I do.
Cool.
So Betty Lange is wondering if you have read the cards for my travels this year.
I did read cards for one of them. Well, I read cards for the Egypt trip, and it was fine for him. And then when I pulled cards for myself, because I already had a feeling like I shouldn't go on the Egypt trip, and then when I pulled cards for that, remember you were there. The first card I pulled, I turned over. It's like, nope, not going.
Yeah, I was like,
nope, that's all I needed. But I don't think I pulled cards for Ireland.
Okay. We'll have to do that.
We will.
We will.
Yeah.
So, which there are still some spots available for the Ireland trip. So I'm going, Victoria's going, Nicole is coming, and several others. But there are still some spots open, so you want to make sure to jump on that. You can find out information at haunteroadmedia.com. My website, MikeRickSucker.com, has the links, or just go to MysteriousAdventurestours.com. So, all right. So we are halfway through the show. Did we want to break to do the little game now?
Yeah, actually, we can all practice our psychic abilities with each other on this one, possibly.
So we're going to play a game. You guys, the audience, needs to ask some question about us, just kind of like a general question. Like, what is Victoria's favorite color? We were kind of joking about that between the show. Or, you know, what's Nicole's favorite food, or whatever. And the three of us are going to write down that answer, and we'll see if we get it correct, you know, in regards to the other person. So it's a fun little game. We'll give you a minute there to toss the questions down, because I know that the lag between the chat and the actual feed is a little off. So,
well, we can start with a question though. So my question would be, what is Victoria's favorite food? But don't tell us. You have to write down your actual favorite food, and we're gonna guess what it is.
You're never gonna get this.
Probably not, but I'm gonna work on it anyway.
Okay.
Then everyone,
like my comfort food.
Sure.
Okay.
All right.
Everyone, if I get a lot of these wrong, people are going to be like, some type of psychic she is. So just to put it out there, I'm not really using my psychic abilities. I'm just playing a game.
This is just,
this is just for fun. All right. You ready, Mike? What did you choose? What did you say?
I chose jalapeno pecans.
Oh. Were they good?
They were good, yeah.
I said pizza.
Uh-oh. Do you want to see mine?
What is
yours?
your favorite food?
What's your favorite food?
Can you see it? Oh, how does this work?
Scrambled egg sandwich?
Scrambled egg sandwich.
You're right.
Wow.
I would have never.
My mom used to slip those into my lunch on occasion when I was a kid. They're pretty good.
Yeah, my mom.
Do you hate your taste buds? Yeah. I'm kidding.
Well,
and that's funny. Down in the chat, Pamela Flagler, Victoria's favorite food. So Tim Schoen has, what is Mike's favorite color?
What is Mike's favorite color? Okay.
Hi, Tim, by the way.
All right. Start with Nicole, who...
All right. I said black or blue. All right.
Okay, go ahead, Victoria.
Red.
Red. Wow. Red was my grandmother's favorite color. You said black or blue.
Yeah, I said black or blue.
I said black and blue.
Yeah.
You guys have seen the color,
true.
right? I mean,
True.
the book cover, the background. It's kind of become the Haunted Road Media theme, right?
Right.
All right. What else do we have here?
What's Mike's favorite? Oh.
Well, what's one for you, for Nicole?
I don't think anyone's asked me anything yet.
Yeah, a lot of these are...
Yeah, you guys can guess too, absolutely.
Yeah, you guys can guess for sure.
This is for everyone, just to have fun.
So, all right, so Samantha De Hoyos. Mike, what is your scariest paranormal experience? So,
all right.
A lot of you who have been watching the Haunted Road Media channel for a while should be able to get this.
Do we have to phrase it in the form of a question?
No.
Yeah, this isn't Jeopardy.
I'm really good at that.
Did you write yours down, Victoria?
I'm fast.
Wow, you are fast.
I also wrote big, so.
All right.
Okay.
Victoria can go first this time.
Okay, Victoria can go first.
Oh, no. Can you see?
Crawler. Oh, crawler. That's a good guess. Yeah.
But not right.
Yeah. I didn't see the last word. I saw
Crawler guy.
Crawler guy. Okay, yeah.
I put when he was all those shadow people in the woods.
Shadow people in the woods. You guys both had good guesses for me as an adult. Because the shadows in the woods, definitely, because that totally creeped me out. Because I was not there for anything paranormal. The crawler was definitely very disconcerting, but we were actually in an investigation, so we were kind of prepared for it. But there's nothing.
So it would have been when you were a kid.
When I was a kid, first shadow experience as a child, where the thing crossed my arms across my body.
But that was your scariest.
I was terrified. I mean, I was 8 years old, and yeah.
I would have thought the shadow people in the woods would have been
The shadow people in the woods was very, very creepy. Yeah. As an adult, that would probably be it, with crawler a close number 2.
Yeah. I always forget how young you were for that first experience.
Yeah, I was 8, so
I was
terrified.
young.
I was trying to scream and
that's
my
the
mouth
worst.
open and nothing could come out.
Yeah.
Yeah. How old were you, Nicole, when you had your first paranormal experience?
The first real paranormal experience that I remember is the mirror experience, and I don't know how old I might have been 6 or 7. So yeah, pretty young.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Jackie Campbell, Nicole, what is your favorite place to visit?
You already know this one. All right, my favorite place
How well do I know you?
to visit. You should know this one. Well, I mean, there's really 2 answers to this one, so we'll see which one you get.
All right.
Because I've talked about both of these. All right.
All right. You got it, Victoria?
I mean this in the nicest way. There's nothing insulting about this, but this is legitimately what I heard. Oh.
Baskin Robbins. No.
Maybe it's
funny
me.
though.
I like Baskin Robbins.
He
I
loves
like
ice cream.
I love ice cream. Yeah, I'm a sucker for it. Disneyland.
It's close, but it's actually Universal Studios.
Universal Studios.
Because Hogwarts.
Oh, because of Hogwarts.
Hogwarts is there, and
but
then also
you had the Disney Pass.
I did have the Disney Pass. Yeah. Well, okay, but when I lived in California, Disneyland was the closest amusement park to me. It was 20 miles away, but because of California traffic, it took me an hour and a half to get there. Plus, like 45 minutes to park and get on the tram and get into the line to get into Disneyland. So it was like this whole ordeal just to get there. But Universal is my favorite because the Transformers ride is a lot of cool. And
yeah, you have talked about Universal.
Yeah. Yep. But Disneyland's fun. I lost a lot of weight just walking around Disneyland and fasting, and it's all fun. It's good stuff.
We'll do a couple more of those at the end of the show. It's kind of fun.
It is fun.
So, inspired by the Jimmy Fallon games. Honestly, we put those on just on YouTube. Not even we don't watch the show, but we'll watch.
Betty
on
has
YouTube.
a great question for Victoria.
Oh, okay. We'll save that one for the end of the show.
Yeah, save that for the.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a really good one. That's a really good one.
What's my favorite flavor? No, just of ice cream. No.
Well, we can ask you that. Hey, what's your favorite?
So, but
vanilla.
Enhancing your psychic abilities. We've talked a lot about the cards, and you showed some examples and everything. What are some other ways? Like if somebody doesn't have a deck of tarot cards, what are some other ways people, other methods they could use to enhance their psychic abilities?
So one of my favorite ways that people can enhance their psychic abilities without cards or without a whole lot of tools is you can basically go through different pictures. So pictures of nature are great. And what you would do for this is, because a lot of people have a hard time meditating. Like I know you do too. You mentioned like when you meditate, you fall asleep or weird things happen.
Yeah, a lot of times I'll crash out or my mind will start racing and I can't concentrate.
Yeah. And so, like, a lot of people have that experience, and then they get frustrated with themselves, and they think, well, I just don't know how to meditate. That's not true. You just haven't been taught how to meditate, because our brain was created to pump out thoughts. So if you close your eyes and your mind starts thinking, guess what? It's doing exactly what it was meant to do. That's exactly what it was designed to do. So congratulations, you have a fully functioning brain. Or at least you have a well-working brain. So what we want to do is we want to learn how to quiet the mind. And closing your eyes and being in that mist of nothingness might be too much for it. It might actually get overwhelmed when you're trying to quiet it, because then your brain is like, hey, pay attention to me. Remember this thing you got to do? So the way that you can kind of break away from that is to, again, get a picture of, I should have gotten one, but get a picture of nature, or just get a picture that's very inspiring for you. To you. And what you would do is, with your eyes completely open, you gaze at that picture. And that's all you do. You gaze at it. And you just kind of ask yourself, like, what does this picture feel like? Like, what's the feeling I get? What kind of sounds would I hear in this image? So if you have this pretty picture of maybe a forest, and there's maybe a stream, just imagine what that would sound like. Imagine what the breeze sounds like. What do the leaves how do the leaves sound when they're falling? And you just kind of pay attention to that, like, what sounds do I hear from this picture? And then it might be, what type of physical sensations do you feel? Do you feel the breeze against you? Do you feel maybe like a mistiness in that environment? And then also you can expand your mind outside of that picture. So you think to yourself, well, what would I see if I turned to the left? What would be over there? What would I see there? What would I see if I turned my eyes to the right? Then what you do after you play this game is you do close your eyes, but you're closing your eyes to reinvent that whole situation, that picture. So you want to kind of get yourself in that picture. And the reason that this is actually helpful for enhancing your intuition is because your brain and your intuition works hand in hand with your imagination. And that's something that is so important for people to know, because a lot of times people will come to me, and you guys have probably had this experience too, where you're like, was that my intuition or was it my imagination? And the truth is, it was probably both, because your intuition will utilize your imagination to help get messages to you. Now, when your intuition is using your imagination, it's also using the images and the information that you already have embedded inside of you. So that means it's going to pull from your existing library. So, we talked about when you're driving and you get an intuitive hit. Well, maybe you're driving somewhere and you're thinking about something that is going to happen in the future, something that you want to happen to the future. Maybe you're thinking about a job promotion, or you're going to see your friend who you haven't seen in a really long time. So you're excited for that reunion. And all of a sudden you get this feeling of just complete peace. And, maybe an image pops in your head of, I don't know, money. I can't think of anything right now. But that is your imagination. That is your intuition working with your imagination to maybe bring you some information about what's going to happen with that upcoming event. So instead of you feeling fear, you felt calmness. Instead of seeing, any type of warning signs, you actually saw more money, indicating that you're going to get a raise, or you don't have to worry about money because the trip or that you and your friend are going to go on, money's going to be okay. So your imagination, your intuition will work with your imagination. And also, the more in tune we get with our feelings, because here's what I find is that I find a lot of people are clairsentient, even if they don't think that. Do you think so, Victoria? Like, a lot of people, a lot of people are clairsentient, which means you have intuitive feelings or intuitive emotions about something. A lot of people who think they're empaths, I think, are actually HSPs who have a strong connection with their clairsentience, with their emotions. So when you're able to really tune into that and get familiar and get comfortable with your emotions, and when you can get comfortable with the uncomfortable emotions, that's really giving your intuition more permission to work through all of your clairs, to work with that sensation. So being aware of your emotions and, again, playing that game where you look at different images and you just get lost inside of them and you let your imagination run free. One of the things you might find is that as you start to play that little game, as you start to look at different images and bring them up in your mind, that might be a place where you start to meet your spirit guides. Like, that's what happened to me. You know, you start to see angels, or your loved ones on the other side might start to come forward. So there's actually a lot of magical things that can happen when you start to train your brain to meditate and to get involved in imaginative experiences like that one.
Fantastic. So we have a couple of good questions that came in here from the chat. Tanya Toner asks, why is my intuition right on cue with everybody else, but not with me? And this is something I've always found with myself. And I don't, is it something to do with self-doubt, or you're just, I don't know. What do you think that is?
Well, I think that it's hard for us sometimes because we live in our own experiences. Mm-hmm. We know our darkest secrets. We know our greatest fears. We know everything there is to know about ourselves. And so sometimes when we do get an intuitive hit on something, we're very, very quick to shut it down. If it has something to do with someone else, we're more open to it. But when it has to do with us, we might shut it down because, again, we have this thing called the brain. And our brain is amazing at coming up with solutions to our problems. And our brain is also amazing at talking us out of the things that we should do, like trusting our intuition. And so what I would encourage you to do is the next time that you are purposely using your intuition to make a decision, really pay attention to how something feels for you. So here's another exercise you can do. You can take some time to actually write out the situation that's happening in your life. And that's great for several reasons. It can have a very healing effect on us to be able to get that out, you know, and also, like it's therapeutic. So once you write out the situation, just kind of take a few deep breaths, maybe walk away from it for a few minutes and come back to it and simply place your hand over it. Close your eyes, breathe very deeply, take a nice few deep breaths in and out, and then just notice what comes to your mind as you quiet your mind, as you quiet your anxiety, as you quiet everything, and all you have is your hand on that paper, and you're paying attention to any intuitive information that comes through in the form of your feelings, in the form of images, and just really pay attention to that, and try not to judge it. Try not to say this is good, this is bad, this is stupid, this is just my imagination. Just let that stream of consciousness come. And after you spend a few moments getting that information, write it down. And after a couple days, see if what you came up with when you quieted down, when you really placed all of your attention on that one thing, see if it turned out that you were correct. Because I'll bet that you were. I'll bet you that 85% of what you wrote down after you did that exercise is going to turn out to be true. So it's just a matter of, again, learning how to tune in your energy, I would really say, to yourself so that your intuition knows what answers to provide to you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, okay. Absolutely. Definitely makes sense. From Sarah Youssef, what is your favorite way to restore energetic balance?
Fasting, actually. You can ask him. I get hyper when I fast. So for me, here's the thing about fasting. In fact, I'm actually doing a video on this on my YouTube channel soon. So I love fasting. I think fasting is amazing. The body of, all the scientific research that's starting to come out suggests that fasting really could be one of the best ways that we can heal our body, that we can embrace intuitive situations, that we can reach a different form of enlightenment, that we can enhance our intuitions. It clears our minds so we can focus. Like, I almost feel like I can't say enough about fasting. Not to mention you can lose weight on it, and that's what I need to do.
It helps.
So it does.
It's a nice little side effect.
So I think fasting brings fantastic energetic balance because that's what I was going to say. The first thing you have to do when you're fasting is you have to drink a lot because that's one of the ways you stave off the hunger. And or you starve off the hunger. um, so you want to make sure that you're drinking a lot of water, or at least a lot of electrolytes, coffee, tea, you just anything that's really free of calories. You want to be consuming that frequently. And what we all know is that water is actually very healing. So when we deprive our body of food, we're taking in more water. And we know that water is this amazing conduit to spirit. We know that it's good for our kidneys and our brain and everything. And I think most of the time when we're not fasting, we're dehydrating. We're not drinking enough water. We're not getting enough fluids. And also, one of the things that I channeled when I was looking into fasting, and I was trying to figure out why is my intuition just when I fast. And
that's a highly technical term.
It is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, look for my printed research coming up in very important journals. Yes, yeah. So what happens when you fast is, first of all, think about how much energy it requires for your body to digest food. That's not something we think about very often. It requires a lot of energy. It requires actually a lot of chi, right? And of course, chi is the life force that's within all of us. And so that's what's responsible for keeping our consciousness going, our sympathetic nervous system. It's responsible for basically everything our body is doing. So when we deprive the body of food, the chi doesn't have to help us digest it anymore. Instead, what that chi starts to do is it starts to heal our bodies. It recycles our cells. There is a growing body of research suggesting that fasting can help in the remission of certain forms of cancer. So that's really interesting. But your body goes into full-on healing mode. The body can't heal unless it's in some type of energetic balance. And so when we're not eating, when our chi's not having to go into that, it goes into different functions. And one of them is that it also begins to heal our energetic spirit too, our energetic body. So now we've got all this chi available. And if we make it our intention that we want to use that to become more intuitive and become more balanced, that's absolutely where that energy will go. And it happens really fast. So that would be my favorite because I think it's easy. I think not eating is one of the easiest things to do. Except for one of my sweets.
Don't starve yourself to death, of course.
Well, of course, yeah.
But I mean, even, it's really interesting because even like eating lighter, like I've noticed when I eat more salads and not like the heavy foods, that I do feel like I have more energy because eating, something that's heavy, has a lot of weight to, or processed foods.
Right.
I feel slower and sluggish, and it's like I just want to kind of chill on the couch for a while, rather than if I'm eating, something lighter, more natural.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I eat something, I like those red bell peppers, and there's like a
you do.
Oh, go figure that. But there's like a freshness to it, like
right.
And I don't know, that kind of like perks me up a little bit.
Well, I think even juice fast, like we haven't tried that yet, but I would imagine that'd be amazing because that's so many amazing nutrients. The different fruits that you would put into your juices, that's going to be great for your chakras. So yeah, you can do a water fast, you can do a juice fast, but of course, always check with your doctor. We are not medical physicians. We're here to offer peer-to-peer advice and all those legalities. So check with your doctor first.
Eva Geller's wondering, how long do you usually fast?
It depends. My favorite is 36-hour fasts. That's what I prefer. Every once in a while, though, I will have to break my fast because there's been a couple times where, like one time fasting, like I was fasting and I ended up with this horrible headache. And I don't think I was drinking enough water. I definitely realized afterwards that I wasn't getting enough electrolytes. And you do want to prepare the day before when you're going to do elongated fast. But you can do a 16-hour fast. You can do intermittent fasting. But for me, I prefer a full day. One of these days I'd love to dive in and do a whole week and see if I can get that, like, enlighten that,
Careful.
But yeah, for me, 36 hours is what I really prefer. I like the longer ones.
Yep. Coyote Chris Sutton is down there in the chat room. Great to see you there, my friend. And he has a book coming out later this week, shock and awe. So definitely check that out. But he says, I fast intermittently, eating 8 hours a day and fasting 16 hours. I've lost 45 pounds since May.
So
Great job, Chris.
that is amazing, Chris. And also I'm curious to know, like, did you notice when you do the intermittent fasting, like, does your head fog lift? Do you sleep better? Because when I fast and when I'm really good at keeping to if I'm either fasting or sticking to the whole circadian rhythm thing, gosh, I find that I have so much energy and focus. And like I said, you can ask him, I can get really hyper on fast.
Yeah, you can.
It's like, how do you have all this energy when you haven't eaten anything? I don't know. It's caffeine. I don't know.
So we're actually getting down to the end of the show. Can you believe that?
Wow.
5 minutes to the end of the show. Victoria, do you have any final questions here that you want to slide in?
No, I'm good. I'm enjoying. Only during the day.
Well, we do have that question we have to ask from.
Yeah. We'll do a couple of more of those questions here as we wrap it up. And does anybody else have any other questions down there? All right. So we have it was from Betty Lange. Victoria, what was your first haunted place you visited? So we have to. Now, Victoria's told me some interesting stories. I don't know if I know her first.
The first place that I knew was haunted?
First haunted place you visited.
Well, my house.
Well, you visited. You visited that you went to visit. So
I guess Old Town Spring. I mean,
no, you're supposed to write it down.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We're doing the game again.
I lied. You don't know where.
All right. Well, there's her answer. All right. Yay, we all won.
I'll make something else up. No.
Something else up. Which Victoria will be featured in the Shadow Dimension series talking about that story.
I'm incognito now.
Yes. Oh my gosh, where'd she go? Oh, she's back. There was someone sitting in your spot, Victoria. It's really weird.
Well, it's funny you say that because I've been feeling somebody touch my back this whole time. So.
Well, before the show started and you were panning, I was like, oh, you got about 3 ghosts in there.
I really do.
Yeah.
Not
I could
Victoria's
feel
ghosts.
them. They're not her ghosts.
No,
not her cats.
they are my ghosts.
Not her ghosts, not her cats.
Did you see the cute little blonde guy? I like him.
I did not
He shows
see
up.
him, no.
He shows up in the mirrors all the time.
No.
So, Nicole,
Yes.
where can everybody? I mean, I know I can find you here, but where can everybody else find you?
I'm not giving that I don't need people showing up.
No, I don't.
No.
Baskin Robbins.
Oh.
That's where you can find Mike.
Oh, okay.
That's where you can find Mike. You can find me at guidingechoes.com and also my YouTube channel, youtube.com/guidingechoes. I've also been on Facebook a lot. Like, I've been a Facebook fiend lately.
Yeah.
And, on a good day, you might catch me on Instagram. But for the most part, guidingechoes.com, my YouTube channel, and Facebook, facebook.com.
Yeah, you posted that cute little video of us.
That was funny.
Just before showtime tonight. That was pretty cute.
Yeah, that was
but
funny.
You said that you had a coupon special for our viewers and our listeners when this goes out on podcast.
Yeah, so from now to January 31st, 2021, if you go to my website to order a service, so whether it is spiritual mentoring, psychic mediumship, or a psychic reading, you can get 20% off your session with me by using the coupon code RABBITHOLE, RABBITHOLE. And that's good for, like I said, from now till January 31st, 2021.
All right. So, Rabbit Hole, use that coupon, guidingechoes.com.
Yes.
All right. So, final question here from Alina. If a spirit shows itself, do they always need some kind of help?
No, they don't always need some kind of help. They might just be saying hi. They might really enjoy where they're there are very friendly spirits out there. And a lot of times they just, you know how every once in a while you go to the store and there's that lonely old guy that's talking to everybody. Like, next time you see a ghost out of everywhere, just pretend it's that guy. A lot of times I think that's what it is. Just someone hanging around, maybe want some company. But no, they're not always needing help.
The little blonde guy that shows up here all the time is just like, hey.
Yeah. Hey,
And then he goes away. Buy the dishes if you're going to be in here, you know.
Right.
We have the farmer ghost in our shed
That's
that likes
right.
to play around with the gears and everything on the lawn tractor. So he's checking out the equipment. It's funny. Because there was
he's really nice.
Nice guy, but it's just the one time a couple months ago, it was one of the final times I mowed the lawn, and I was trying to get the lawn tractor out, but the door shut on the shed, so I get off the lawn tractor. I had not taken it into reverse or anything yet, so I got down, opened the door back up, got back on the tractor, and cranked it back up. Went to put it in reverse. It was already in reverse. I was like, what in the world?
He's
he
helping.
likes to play with the gear. Yeah,
he's helping.
He's a step ahead of me.
I think he's a fixer-upper because I'll hear him. I'll hear different sounds where it sounds like someone's trying to do some type of repairs on something that doesn't need repaired. And so, like, sometimes I'll see him, sometimes I don't. But yeah, he's a nice guy. But
can you send him down here because my weather's stripping?
Yeah,
I need some new.
I can ask. Doesn't hurt to ask, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Doesn't hurt to ask. He might want to take a road trip.
Maybe.
Yeah, we have the ghost pineapple upside down cake upstairs. So
Ooh,
yeah,
nice.
That's right. That's right.
So Brenda Brown saying, thank you so much, Mike, Nicole, and Victoria. Awesome show. Betty Lange, love the laughter tonight. Thank you so much, Mike, Nicole, and Victoria, and Chatters. Yes, thank you very much, Mad Hatters, for joining us this evening. We'll go ahead and wrap this up. We'll go ahead.
You get tongue-tied, baby?
A little bit. You guys want to toss us one more question while we do the shout-outs and everything? We could do one.
Write it down.
I know there are some questions in there about Beyond the Shadows for tonight. So let me go ahead and address Beyond the Shadows. There's not a live broadcast of Beyond the Shadows tonight. I know when we broke for the holidays, I said that was coming to a new platform, which is not quite ready yet. So for this coming week for Beyond the Shadows, you will get an audio podcast of that later on this week. So that'll be on like Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, all of that. And of course, I'll post that on social media when that's up and live and good to go. But the live stream version is going to a different platform, and it probably needs a couple more weeks to be fully ready, but I will let you guys know when that is available. So, okay. So let me see if there are any other questions down here. So,
I have questions.
Okay, go ahead, Victoria.
Will they still be live? Your Beyond the Shadows?
They'll still be live. Yeah, just
okay.
on a,
Are they still
on a different platform.
Still on Tuesday? Because I know one time you said you were going to switch.
I'm gonna move it to a different day. It's not also going to be on Tuesday. Yeah.
Okay.
It's just it's a lot. I mean,
Oh, it is.
Yeah. I mean, I did it because years ago people asked for a second hour of Edge of the Rabbit Hole, and like me personally, when I am a guest on a podcast or a show or whatever, I don't like doing a 2-hour show. It's a lot of time out of my evening and all of that stuff.
And his throat will get really parched.
Yeah, it will. So I prefer doing an hour show. So I was not going to ask a guest to stay for 2 hours, but people wanted, more time. So I threw together. It used to be Inside the Upside Down and became Beyond the Shadows, but staying and doing it that late at night, and then constantly talking. Was really, hurting my voice, and it gets late and all of that. So it's a lot for one night. So
Plus
we're going to move it to another.
Oh,
What's that?
The commute. Oh,
the commute's killer. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
For your voice, what you could take is tea.
Well, and I've done that. Yeah, I've done that. What?
Oh, that's step one. See, you could have haunted road tea.
Oh, you're still looking for entity.
Entity.
You're looking for entity.
No.
Haunted road tea.
Paranormal activity.
Oh,
nice.
Yeah. Okay, anyway, go on.
All right. And Betty Lange is saying, good 2 hours is too much and would love to hear you twice a week. Awesome. Cool. So, did anybody throw any other questions down there? Well, Betty Lange was like, do you guys like cold weather or warm weather? Warm.
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 Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Another question right at the end here. Pamela Flagler, what do you do with your sigil once it comes true?
You can bury it, you can burn it, you can frame it and show everyone, yeah, this happened because of that. But, yeah, I mean, there's do what you want with it. You can keep it on your altar. There's lots of things you can do with it. So.
Okay, cool. All right, let's get to the shout-outs here real quick. Deep Down the Rabbit Hole Patreon patrons, Tom McNicholas, Andrew Cox, and Joe Chandler. Thank you very much for being Deep Down the Rabbit Hole Patreon patrons tonight. Thank you for all the other Patreon patrons. Get to the shout-outs here with the participants tab. We got Andrew and his trucking gnomes. Thank you very much, Andrew Cox. Andy Coco, thanks for joining us tonight.
Andy Coco!
There's Betty Lange. Brenda Bound, thanks for joining us tonight.
Brenda is actually going to be on an upcoming video on my channel.
Oh, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Camp Bright Moon is in the house. Great to see you again. Check out her channel. Does a lot of cosplay. There's Coyote Chris Sutton. Great to see you, my friend. Donna Liska, thanks for joining us tonight. Lena Pham is in the house. Eva Gellert, thanks for joining us tonight. Helen Espinoza, thank you once again. There's Jackie Campbell. Enjoy, thanks for joining us. Pamela Flagler, thanks for joining us. And thanks, everybody, for all the questions as well. Robert Hanna, thank you very much. And Sandy Miller, good to see you down there. Sarah Morgan, thanks for joining us. Sarah Youssef, you as well. Tanya Toner, and the Haglin. All right. I know Adam Tiller's lurking out there somewhere.
And Tim. I hope Tim's
shown. Yeah, Tim's
Yeah,
recovering
Tim.
from his surgery.
Mm.
So
Yeah, he
quick
was in there
recovery,
earlier.
too.
He did his first. Yeah.
He did.
He did.
All right. And let me scroll up here, see if there's anybody else we need to include. So, all right. Yeah, glad to see you collaborating with Nicole again. All right. The tarot spread she taught you is my absolute favorite one to go to.
Yay.
All right. That's awesome. So thank you very much, Bunny Bats.
Still my favorite, too. That's my go-to spread. I really love that one.
So, Brad Waddick, thanks for joining us tonight. Yeah, there's Tim. He's up there. And anybody else?
Hi to everybody.
Yes, hi, everybody.
Hi, everyone.
All right, I'm going to scroll back down.
All right.
So there we go. All right, yeah, see. Adam Tiller, lurker gonna lurk.
Lurker gonna lurk.
Yep. All right, everybody. Who do we have next week?
I know it's not me.
It's not Nicole.
It's not me.
It's not Nicole.
It's the fairy lady. No?
Bring up my
Yes.
board here. Oh, yes, Morgan Daimler. So she's going to talk about all kinds of legends and fairy folk and things like that from Ireland. So she does a lot of Irish folklore stuff. So that'll be pretty cool. Especially since we're going to be doing the Ireland trip.
Yes.
Yep. So
With
remember,
only one
guys, jump on
suitcase.
it. Yeah, only one suitcase. Well, I mean, you could pay for another, but who wants to do that?
I still have to carry it. No.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. All right, everybody. Have a great night. We will see you next week. Till next time.
Bye, guys.